What are some of the best sports movies of all time? And what is it about sports and competition that just gets us so hooked? And what does it even mean to be a varsity Catholic? That and so much more on today's first episode. We are the Varsity Catholic Podcast. And we're off to the first episode of the Varsity Catholic Podcast. Hi, my name is Brady Steir.
And I'm Ry Godde.
Let's go. And we're here excited to have these conversations about our love of the Catholic faith and combining that with our love of sports. So, Ry, you love sports, right?
Just a little bit.
Just
a little bit. On the side, I don't really care about it that much. No, I'm just kidding. It's the best.
What got you hooked into sports? Like, what are some of your favorite sports movies growing up? Some pop culture references? Yeah, hit me up.
I feel like it's two very different questions to ask. What got you hooked into sports? But then what are some of your favorite sports movies? So which one should we start with? Where are we going today?
Let's go. What are some of your favorite sports movies of all time?
Okay, sweet. That is also a very hard question. I feel like something very hard right out of the gates to go for, because I feel like people can get very judgmental with movies. If you're saying sports movies, I feel like we can have some hard judgment right out of the gates here. But I was thinking about this earlier today, and I would have to go with like 5 of my favorite sports movies. And I think this is funny because maybe this is where my woman heart comes in a little bit more, because I love Blindside. Rudy, I think, tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. Those are my 2 like soft, mushy, gushy, less maybe about the whole sport, maybe more about the story. And then more on like the sports side, I'd say Moneyball, Miracle, and then on the funny side, Sandlot. So I've got Blindside, Rudy, Moneyball is one of my all-time favorites, Miracle, and Sandlot. Those are my top like 5.
With like the female heart kind of part in there, because like Blindside, I think there's a lot of men out there that are like, if you ask that lineman that they play in the movie, he's like, half of that story is not even true.
Yeah.
But it's like, but the mom figure and the love, it's like, yeah. And
it's like, I'm like, cool. Is it even a sport movie? But I think it is. It's like,
well, I was going to talk about that because I think a lot of the reasons why we love sports movies, there's a sport element to it, but it's the story behind it that shows a life lesson or the family drama or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like Rocky or like Cinderella Man. Like all of that is like, technically it's about a sport, but it's all about like, how do you get to where you are?
So we connected on a couple of them. I had Miracle is in my head. I'm from Minnesota. I mean, it's USA galore.
Gotta get that hockey in there. Come on.
Yeah, it's just such a great sport. The skill, the speed. I never even played it competitively, but it's for you hockey people out there. It's a legit sport. And then Sandlot. I'm so glad you said that, because I think everybody sees it as a sports movie. When you actually think about it, it's not even so much a sport movie, but it brings that sport like nostalgia of being a kid, playing free, being with your friends. It's like we all want to go back to the Sandlot.
Yeah. And in the movie Sandlot, their days are so pure. Like it is like your classic when your grandparents were kids, kind of what they talk about. Like y'all just went out, you played ball in the backyard, and it was just like that's how you spent your days. I just think, I just want to go back to that.
Okay, another one I have to add is Remember the Titans. I think it's just from like...
That's a good one.
From society to the team to the coaches, it's like all about overcoming X, Y, Z. Like the whole movie is just like they're overcoming all these things, even to the point where the captain, Gary Bertier, has to overcome his injury at the end. And it's just like, it's just phenomenal.
Shows the perseverance a little bit.
Yeah.
The true story ones.
On that.
Yes, yeah. We could do a whole episode on most of these, honestly, because there's something in all of them that relate to anything we're talking about. Even Sandlot, right? It's like you said, it's not like the sport heavy competition, but it's like, what is it? Like you asked at the beginning of this, what is it that draws us to sport? What attracts us? And it's like, so what attracts us at such a young age to just go out and play catch or to play ball? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Why have we had such a pull from ever since I can remember to throwing with my pink glove in the backyard? You know what I mean?
Oh, even so you remember the color even, the pink.
Oh, it was my first glove. It was pink. There was a little pink ball that went with it. It was one of those like packages from, I don't know. I don't even know what maybe Sports Authority at the time. And it was like it was a pink glove and had the ball attached in it. And then it was like, I just remember it was like Christmas morning coming out, unwrapping the ball and the glove. And then I was like in the backyard with my mom and my older brother learning how to throw for the first time. It was the best.
It's just,
what's your first memory?
Exactly. It's the best.
Yeah. This might be getting off a little bit, but what is your first memory?
This is a great story. Ironically, you're talking about softball. Mine was baseball, and I'm more of a football, basketball kind of guy. But I was playing baseball with an elephant at the fair. I got chosen as like a 3-year-old to go up, and the elephant took its trunk and pitched the ball. I remember whiffing the first 2, and then the third one came, and I hit it over the elephant's head, and it was the best memory ever.
Some of these kids, like I'm seeing these kids take swings at like 3 years old now on like Instagram or whatever, and some of them are so good, and I'm like, whoa, like how do you get so good at such a young age? I don't know. This next generation is gonna be different. Okay, so you've got Remember the Titans. You've got Miracle. Did you have any others?
Yeah, I do have one more because you talked about like a real life story, and one that always hit me, a little bit of nostalgia too, because I watched this movie every single year before basketball season, was Coach Carter. Now, Coach Carter the movie itself is like, has some stuff I wouldn't say we condone in the Catholic Church as like, we agree with this or that. But the coach is like, he's teaching life lessons from the sport. And I was a basketball guy, so it like hit me every single time. Like, I just want to go ball. I want to be disciplined. I want to be excellent. I want to be great. Coach Carter, I wanted to highlight it because that coach used the sport of basketball and the love of competition to teach life lessons, which I think when we talk about Varsity Catholic and what we're trying to do here is like, we want to use this love for sport to help people to grow in their faith. And so that example, that story, for those who don't know it, just real quick.
Yeah, I've never watched it, so just give a little bit of a glimpse.
He's a coach in like Richmond, California. It's, a ghetto place, a lot of crime going on there. The graduation rate is like 50%. And even if they do graduate, most of them don't go to college or other things. So they're just on the streets doing what their parents did, even if their parents are still around. And so this coach comes in and says like, I'm going to take over this program, not only to win basketball games, but to change your life. And so I actually wrote down a quote because I think it explains the movie well. He says, guys, if you listen and learn, you will win basketball games. And gentlemen, the key to winning out there is to win in here. So he's saying like, if you learn how to win in here with your excellence, with your perseverance, with your discipline, that'll give you the freedom to know that, hey, if I'm this disciplined in the court, that produces wins. I can be disciplined in the classroom, which will produce good grades and wins, which for us, we can even take it a step further. We can be disciplined in our faith with the amount of time we spend with our practice to like have a great spiritual life.
Yeah. I'm seeing that so much more as I've just like more and more left out of my college career and left, leaving like competitive sports behind. It's like that these lessons of excellence tie in to everything that I do. And even like you were saying, like excellence is one of the big 3 focus, chastity, sobriety, and excellence is the last one. And I do think it is something that all around in all areas of life, like that it should be a priority and should be focused on. And like you're saying, Coach Carter is really like trying to emphasize that in his guys, and something that I'm starting to try to take on as a coach of like, if I see you, I don't want you just to be excellent on the field. Like I want you to be excellent in the hallways or in your classroom or whatever that is. Like I just started coaching at a high school here, and I see my girls in the hallways. I see them come into my office. I see them in the classrooms, and it's like, I want them to be excellent in all the little things. I want you to have your uniform tucked the right way. I want you to be wearing the proper things. I want you to get your classes on time. I want you to have good grades. Like just all the areas of excellence. It's not just about the sport. It's not just so you can play on the field. It's so that you are an excellent and virtuous person. Like I think that's so applicable, and those are the best coaches, like you said, Coach Carter, who really implement that.
Well, you said it right there with how you want them like a great example, because that movie is about high school students as well. He literally has the guy sign a contract in the beginning of the year about you're gonna attend all your classes, sit in the front row of your classes, wear a suit and tie on game day, things like that. It's just like, and the kids initially, and even the parents are actually very against it, because even the GPA is like the minimum is 2.0. He's saying we're gonna shoot for a 2.3. So that you have to score lower on your college scores to get into college, like your SATs, ACTs. And so he's very much like, and if you can honor a contract, a simple one from high school basketball, then you can learn the lesson of honoring a contract in the real world. And so, I don't know, you said it perfectly there. Do you have any coaches in your own life that, have you had any coach like Coach Carter before? Or when was a time where you actually started connecting faith in sports and like the discipline, connecting them together?
Yeah, it's funny because I wouldn't say like I ever had a coach that maybe saw me in all areas of my life that I'm kind of now getting to see my girls in. Either, I mean, I guess in college, like my college coach, she did come to our classes, make sure that we were going to her classes, but maybe not to the extent that I now am seeing that I would want as a coach to implement in my kids. And I do see it really well done by actually our basketball coaches here at the high school that I coach at. And I actually they're my direct coworkers. And I get to work with them and just to kind of see how they hold them to a standard. And for context, our basketball team is like number 3 in the whole country, I think, or maybe give or take number 3, somewhere in there. So they're held to an excellent standard. We have the top recruit in the nation here right now. But it's crazy. It's really cool to see how they hold them to their grades in high school. They hold them to the uniform, like I said. They hold them to practice, like, hey, make sure you're hustling, giving 110% in everything that you do. Like, I don't even know how to explain all of the things, but I think as I've been witnessing them on the day-to-day basis, because they are my direct coworkers, and seeing how they're holding those guys to that standard. And these are high school boys. Like, we all know high school boys can be a little difficult. But, like, awesome at the same time. You just have to, kind of direct them in the right way. But to see them hold them to that standard on a daily basis, and to not give leadway in that has just been really, really great example for me to learn from and to watch and to follow that. But to answer your direct question, I don't actually think, like, if I think back on my time, not to any shade on my old coaches, I don't think I've directly had a coach who was living in all areas of virtue and excellence and held me to that standard that, like, I really would love to be the coach that maybe you hate me as a coach, but I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your coach. I want you to, like, be that coach maybe that you hate right now, but later on in my life you can say, yeah, she was that coach for me. You know what I mean?
Dude, that throws back to the movie Miracle. Remember when they're all like fighting each other and the assistant coaches are talking? They're like, why does he do this? And the one little like trainer, the old guy, he's like, well, maybe if they hate him so much, they can't hate each other as much.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Gosh, good movie. That's my thoughts off the top of my head. What about you? Did you ever have a coach like that?
No, I would say, and again, I apologize if I did, but it's not coming to mind. I think I mostly had some negative experiences that I learned from. So, when you see the opposite and you're just like, I don't want to be a coach like that, or that doesn't work anymore in today's age, or because like a Coach Carter was a transformational coach. And I think she nowadays tries to be transformational and relational to the parents. But no, I didn't really have that. But the first time faith in sports clicked to me was when I was playing college, because I realized I could spend 3 hours training a day for my sport, but it was really hard for me to pray 5 minutes. And that was a Holy Spirit moment, because I came out of nowhere. I was in my dorm room. I remember when that happened. And I was like, that was the first step in a long road to get where I am now. Like, do they directly connect here? It's like, no, but I know that my sport is going to eventually end. And I know that eternity is going to be eternal.
Yes.
So it's like, why am I spending so much time on this thing that doesn't ultimately matter when I need to be spending more? So
Isn't that funny?
Like we going against what I'm talking about here, but I think we come to the full circle where we realize, like, oh, sport is an awesome avenue to get us to a place where we can spend eternity with God in heaven. It's a tool there. Because I wanted to ask, like, should we like we love competition in sports so much. Like, should we be this invested as a player? Should we be this invested as adults? Should we be this invested even when we're done playing?
This is the kind of stuff I could talk about all day, clearly, which is why we're on here. Because I think everyone brings different takes on it. Every coach has different say. Like, everybody can kind of give their input on this question. Like, you have your coaches who are like, this is my life, this is my everything, I'm choosing this over family, I'm choosing this over God. You have your coaches like Notre Dame, right? Like, he's kind of mixing both. They almost won the championship last year. Like, he's really trying to give the balance. And I just think this is a conversation that we can obviously always continue to talk about this. And you said it so well, is like, this is a tool. This is not the end all be all. Every athlete knows that at some point, we all, one, die, but two, like, we retire. Like, our bodies are not meant to be playing Division I athletics at 28 years old or 40 years old. Like, we eventually hang it up, like we all do. Even the most famous of athletes, you have to hang it up one day. And so, like, what is life after that? What is life after we die? Like, all of these questions, just come into play when you're talking about this kind of stuff. And I also think it comes in, again, all the little things, like, working out, does it even matter? Schoolwork, why does that matter? Like, all of these things, everything in our life can lead to eternity and should lead to eternity. Everything should point to heaven. Like, everything that we do should be done for the glory of God. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think some days, like, I would sit there and after a 3-hour practice, and you're like, I just threw a ball around for 3 hours. Like, why? Like, what is the point of it? To win a game, to win a trophy? Obviously, that's awesome. Like, it's fun and it's good, but why at the end of the day, And I don't know if athletes ask these questions enough, but I do know, and I hope that we have some guests on here who have been very accomplished, and we know some of them personally as well, and have won national championships. At the end of the day, it's like, I was in the locker room after that, and that was it. Like, that was everything that I poured into, was for that celebration. So yeah, I mean, you brought up a great point, Brady, is like this question of why, and I think that's what we're here to talk about.
It's gotta go beyond the sport. Like, if you were to ask any typical athlete, hey, why are you practicing? I don't know, so I can play. Why do you go to class? So I can practice, so I don't get kicked off the team. It's like, you just go to school. Like, are these people choosing to go to LSU for their liberal arts studies? It's like, no, they're going to LSU for the sport, but they have to be in school so they can play their sport. They play their sport so they can go pro. And it's just like, but there has to be more to that, because one, you might not make it all the way to pro. And then two, even if you do, there's going to be a time where you're done with that as well. So, like, we have to go beyond, which is what we're going to talk about throughout all the episodes we're going to do. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add quick, just in terms of like sport, and I think this is an important note for people to hear off the bat, is like, it's totally fine to invest yourself in sport as long as it's not a priority. It's not the end all end game. And the way I heard it once was like, sport is meant to serve us. We're not meant to serve sport. And so sports should serve you in the sense that it should make you a better person. It should help you to grow in discipline and excellence. It should help you to make friends. It should be enjoyable, versus I'm just doing this sport because I feel like I have to. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't even enjoy practice. I don't like my teammates and coaches. It's actually pulling me further away from God. It's like, you're serving sport because you think you have to, versus no, sport is meant to serve you. And so how is sport making you a better person?
I really like that quote. I'm going to push back a little bit too, though, because I do, like, I am recalling conversations with teammates on the bus who were like in tears because they hadn't seen the field in like 2 years. And they're like, what am I even doing here? And I think there is a certain level, and maybe I'm getting a little too into this, but a certain level of discernment that might come in whether or not you continue to play your sport. Because if you ask my 25 softball teammates in college, why are you doing this? Probably a lot of us would have very different answers. Maybe, like you were saying, for the scholarship, because I loved it. I loved softball, because their parents are like, this is the only way they will keep you in college. There might be different, we all might have different approaches on that. But back to like the teammates crying on the bus is like, they felt like they had no purpose in their sport and like it wasn't serving them anymore, right? But maybe like this was their particular, like the will of God for their lives in that moment. Like maybe this is the way that the Lord was asking for them to put themselves aside, and not everyone, right? There is a time that you can quit and should quit, but maybe this was a moment where the Lord was like, this is your cross in a sense. This is the way that I'm calling you to be a more selfless person. This is the way that I'm calling you to love others every day when it's hard. This is the way that I'm asking you to celebrate other people in life. You know, all the different things that come with either being injured or being on the bench or being the player that never sees the field but is the number one hype person. I remember Alabama coach, softball coach, I'm forgetting her name right now, but she gave a talk at Seek, and she highlighted this one girl who never played, but ultimately led them to the championship. I believe it's on Seek Replay, the talk from this past Seek, but she highlighted. Best.
Shout out. I think she's at Louisiana Lafayette maybe now?
Yes, you're right, sorry.
She was at Alabama.
She did. Now she's Raging Cajuns, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, but I just remember she gave a talk at a Seek when I was a freshman, and it just blew my mind talking about coaches and talking about people influential. It blew my mind like that someone could be, Alabama's like a top softball program, that someone could be that virtuous and faithful as a college softball coach. And in a time that I was experiencing a ton of sin and a big culture change in my life, in the softball team at my school. And so like just to see her at Seek and to hear her speak about faith so openly, and that she like shared that with her girls and pushed them to be excellent in every way, like it will be a talk that I will always remember.
Me too.
Because she was that influential coach of just like she was living her life as God intended her to live it. So yeah, I think that talk in particular, she highlighted a girl who helped them win the championship, even though she didn't get the game-winning hit. So I'm going to push back a little bit on that of like, and I don't think that's what you were meaning to say, but I do think sometimes like we're not meant to be the starting player, and that's the Lord still has very intentional purpose in that.
So I'll be honest, that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because that's actually what I was getting at was what you were saying.
Yeah.
So I wanted like it's actually serving that person by them having to take a step back, to be humble, to go through whatever. It's like the sport is still serving them, but not in the terms of like, hey, you're the all-star, here, I'm serving you. It's like, it's actually making me a better person by playing. And maybe it means, by participating, but maybe I'm not playing, it's serving me. So yeah. Okay. We were on the same page. Yes. Humility is, that's such sport can teach you humility so fast, man. We could have 10 episodes on that. Huh? Let's get Coach Betts on here. I bet she would.
Please do it. Please. Oh, that would be a full circle for me.
Shout out right away.
Yeah, full circle for me. Just like what a woman. What a coach. Gosh. And yeah, like I mean, to kind of push back on the coaching a little bit too, like not to say that my coaches didn't do a good job, but like it is hard to be a coach, and I'm learning that as I'm going, and there's a lot of weight on your shoulders if you're like, I'm not just trying to coach these girls to be good softball players, I'm trying to coach them to be good people, and to hold virtue and to show like to have all these characteristics and to be good people at the end of the day. And I'm like, it is hard, like so I had things that I learned from all of my coaches and pulled, like you were saying, like things that I'm like, oh, maybe I wouldn't do that, but things that I really appreciated and respected. But it is hard to find that diamond in a rough coach who really possessed it all, like Coach Carter.
Just shout out to Coach Carter. So one of the climax of the movie is because they didn't honor their contract, their classes were failing, even though the team was undefeated. He suspended the team from practice and games until they got their grades up. And they lost a couple games because they forfeit because they weren't playing. It got to a point where even like the school board and city got involved, that they actually unlocked the gym and banned the coach from banning the players from playing. But the coach said, hey, my goal is to teach life lessons here. If you're going to tell them winning basketball games is more important than winning in life, then I'm just going to quit. And so they outruled him, and he actually quit. But the climax of the movie is he walks to go into the gym to go get his stuff from his office, his locker room, whatever, coach's office. And his players are in the gym studying instead of practicing
Come on.
because they vibed with it. It's like,
Let's
that's
go.
transformational coaching right there. Like
Yes.
that's the win.
And
So,
that's the
good point.
two
Hard
things.
being a coach.
Yes, so hard. And that's the two things that I take from that story is the basketball staff here I was talking about. Like, they are so hard on their boys, but the boys respect them so much. And like you're saying with Coach Carter, those boys ended up having the transformation. It's so hard to do the right thing. It's so hard for me especially, I'm learning it's so hard for me to be hard on my kids. But then when I see how it's transforming their boys and that the boys still respect them at the end of the day, even though they might dislike them at the time being, if they still respect them at the end of the day, it's really cool to see. And that goes for not even outside of sports. Like, to do the right thing is hard. But at the end of the day, my hope is that you would be a respected person as well. Then I had another thought. You said that, I don't remember, slipped my mind.
There we go. We can edit that part out. Or we can just keep it in and embarrass you a little bit.
Oh, I got it. That the world is like, no, the sport is the center. Like they like you said, they fired the coach. They were pushing back. Like, why the heck are you causing our team to lose by taking out our starters or whatnot? Like, the world is gonna say, no, sport is what's the most important. But like, again, if you see sport as a tool to shaping your character and shaping as a path on the way to heaven, like, that's where you're doing it right.
I think this is a good segue to ask the question. So we're a Varsity Catholic podcast, and I've heard this from my friends that enjoy me, to like to make fun of me, and other people that don't even know what the heck Varsity Catholic is. Like, Varsity Catholic, what's it mean to be a Varsity Catholic? So if I were to ask you, what does it mean to be a Varsity Catholic, what would you say?
It's funny. I have never actually thought about this. I worked for Varsity Catholic for 2 years. Never thought about this in the terminology of it before this episode. So my take on it would be, right, you got, maybe it's because I'm in the middle of coaching both varsity and JV right now, but I got my varsity girls who know what they're doing, who still have a lot to grow and have a lot to learn, but they're like committed to the higher level of playing. And then you've got your JV team who very committed still, but they don't have much experience, and maybe it's not their top priority. They haven't spent most of their life dedicated to that sport. They're kind of just trying it on this side. And I think that's where I would maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but take the term Varsity Catholic is like, I want to be on varsity. I want to be giving my all. I want this to be my main commitment in my life. And I want to be good at it. Like, in a sense, like, not that faith is like measured by how good you are, success, but like, I want to be excellent in it, and I want to give it my all, so that it actually does come through in all areas of my life in the sports world. That's what I would say.
I think that's a great answer, because whenever I get asked the question or I ask somebody else, it's the first thing people think about is B squad, junior varsity, whatever. It's like, what's the antithesis to varsity? It's like, well, then you're on the second string team. You're not quite whatever. Yeah. Again, right? Catholicism might get a bad rap sometimes about like, you got to do all these things to get your way to heaven. It's like, we don't actually believe that. However, we want to be varsity in terms of like, we're striving to win. We are trying to be in the starting lineup. We're trying to be on the front line with the saints, actually winning in this world, if you will, by the grace of God, with the grace of God, right? And so I think a big factor is like in sports, and St. Paul talks about this in 1 Corinthians, it's everybody's disciplined in every way to win a perishable crown, but we are trying to win an imperishable crown. And so like, that's the biggest difference, is we're trying to win an imperishable crown for heaven, which is what's that means. So I think the only other thing I would add, and Focus talks about this through their discipleship, it's, do you want Jesus to be a part of your life, or do you want him to be the center of your life? I think a Varsity Catholic puts Jesus at the center of their life, and not just has them be one of the many things they do. So that's, I think that's what I would add. Yeah,
no, 100% agree with that. All of that, you said it well. Dang, This is good stuff. I'm so excited. Talking about Coach Carter, talking about coaches, talking about competition, and how, that brings the best out of us, and ultimately just how sport can bring us to the masses.
Yeah, the love of sport, the love of competition. We're gonna have a lot of competitive spirits on here, and I like I like that terminology, bringing the masses. Because our goal is to bring people to masses, like that Catholic mass. So I think it's on words there, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, anything else for our audience on day one here?
I'm so excited for the guests. Like I'm pumped for that. I think everyone has their own story in athletics, and just like we're gonna get little snippets of ours, but just to hear everyone's like journey and what they take away from athletics. Like I said at the beginning, I'm stoked about that. And like we said, we're bringing sport to the masses, you guys, but also our goal is to bring you ultimately closer to eternity, to heaven, and probably the cross, because the only way to heaven is through the cross. And so a lot of sport does suffer a little bit, and I think sport is a great way to bring you to the cross and through that to the resurrection. So I'm just stoked. Let's go. Anything else from you?
No, I just want our audience to keep tuning in. We're going to have a lot of guests on, coaches, athletes, former players, current missionaries, people that work Varsity Catholic National, all the above. So, hey, maybe we can get some of those basketball coaches on that you're working with. I
would love that. They're awesome.
Hey, come in the office today, whatever.
Literally, our office.
Well, hey, that's going to be a wrap for the Varsity Catholic Podcast today. Check out more of what we do on Instagram at Varsity Catholic. Share this with a friend, share this with a teammate, get the word out there, and really be sure to make, softball, baseball, solid contact with those like, subscribe, follow buttons, so that not only can you guys keep up with the content we're delivering, but that you can help us make Christ more and more a central part of sport. And always remember to compete well, finish the race, keep the faith.